edition of Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. As we are already here, joining us are you with your earballs. I'm not sure how to start this off. I'm not sure how I was going with that, to be honest with you.
Are we professionals or no?
No, we've done this, what, 28 episodes in? Yeah, we know what we're doing. Waffle had to bust out the Tampa Bay Storm jersey here.
Very nice. I'm a big fan of that.
It was called, I was looking for a shirt, and it's like, oh, this is perfect. Here we go.
So. I love that. I'll shout out mine. I'm supporting Bussin' with the Boys, the podcast with Will Compton and Taylor Lewan. And this is a shirt that, took me, I had to swallow my pride and buy it because it's Bengals colors. And it was after the Tennessee after the Bengals beat the Titans. And Will Compton started putting out Bengals, about to say Bengals flavored stuff. They're not, you don't taste that. Bengals colored items, and Taylor Lewan called him a sellout. So this is sellout Will.
All right, there you go. Oh man, well yeah, glad this episode's off to a roaring start for us. But we'll get going and we'll talk some NBA playoffs. Last time we talked to y'all, the Memphis Grizzlies were still in the playoffs, but unfortunately they were not. We saw that game. They fell to the Warriors. The Warriors winning that series 4-2 thanks to a 40-point night for Klay Thompson. And, of course, who would have guessed Kevon Looney with 22 rebounds in that game as the Grizzlies, even though Dylan Brooks had his best game of his career, you have to say, 7 3-pointers, which is the most he's had, I believe, in a playoff series ever. Most he's had, I think, in a game ever. And like that, the Grizzlies fell to the Warriors. But Waff, despite all this, again, John Morant, most improved player, which probably should have gone to, somebody else on the team. Triple J probably should have gotten that, but
or Desmond Bain.
You had a lot of good. Of course, Dylan Brooks did his good thing, bad thing, but he showed up a lot in playoffs. When he had to take over, it felt like a lot.
Yeah.
Steven Adams was a difference maker for this team as well. But overall, how would you grade the Grizzlies season?
I think the season overall is it's no less than an A-. I mean, it was a heck of a season. Nobody expected this team. I thought they were a little bit ahead of schedule last year, just beating the Warriors in the play-in game and getting into the playoffs and winning a first-round game. But to go from that to year two you're the second best record in the West, a highly competitive West, might I add. And you tie your best record in franchise history. They're way ahead of schedule. And this team is going to be in for a lot of success. I mean, led by John Morant. The future's bright. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain has been a diamond that they found in the draft. Dylan Brooks as well. And say what you want about Brooks. Obviously, he's one of those guys, if you have him on your team, you love him. If you don't, you hate him. Kind of like a Draymond Green type. But I feel like that Dylan Brooks can provide that type of role as Draymond Green. Like, he's not always going to put up flashy numbers. Now, Dylan Brooks obviously shoots a heck of a lot more than Draymond, but Dylan Brooks is not going to hit every shot, but some games he's going to step up and drop 30 like he did in this one. And Steven Adams, too. Adams was big. I hated losing Valanciunas, but getting Adams in, he's been dominant. And had he not been hurt against Golden State, it could be a different story. But, yeah, this Grizzlies team way ahead of schedule. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Tyus Jones. I would love to keep Tyus Jones because he's awesome, and obviously he's a Duke guy, so we know him a lot from back in the college day. But Tyus has played himself to where he might get a starting job, which I think he deserves. But I'd love to see the Grizzlies keep him and keep him as the backup for Ja too. I think that'd be a pretty dynamic. But way ahead of schedule. Love the trajectory of the Grizzlies. Taylor Jenkins also fantastic coaching hire, and I think we're starting to see how good of a hire that is.
Yeah, for sure. Again, you got to think if John Morant was stayed healthier this year, again, they were still good without him. You saw in the regular season, heck, even in the playoffs, that's when they had that 50-point blowout win over the Warriors was without John Morant. So this team is still very good. It's not just John Morant going out there and having to carry the team on his back. There's a lot of guys helping out with this team, leading them. And, yeah, this is a team I think was predicted to be, back in the play-in game. I think 10th would be the last team in a lot of preseason rankings, and the 2 seed in the West, which is incredibly hard to do. Because heck, you can look at, and we'll talk about this other game. The top 2 seeds in the West aren't even in the Western Conference Finals. That's how deep this conference is.
Right.
So, this is a tough conference, and they were able to get the 2 seed in it. And, I think they showed out. Again, way ahead of schedule. If John Morant can stay healthy, if they can maybe find one more piece in there, I think the Grizzlies could possibly get a 1 seed next year, and who knows? Sky's the limit.
Yeah. I really like Zaire Williams, who came off the bench and even got some starts there in the playoffs for the Grizzlies, the rookie out of Stanford. I mean, I think he's going to be a summer league legend this summer, and then come out next year. And like, he has the same body type and skill set where he could be that big or kind of stretch small forward type deal. And he could be really, really good for this Grizzlies team. So I'm excited. I think the future's very, very bright. And as long as everybody stays healthy, everything should be good.
Yep, absolutely. So, and see what happens with the Grizzlies moving forward. On the other side in the West, I believe the series was still happening, and it was. The Mavericks upset the 1 seed in the West, the Suns, as the Mavs win that series. And man, again, I'm a Chris Paul hater, so I love it. But Chris Paul in the playoffs, man, the 5th time his team has had a 2-0 lead in the playoffs, and they have lost a series. It's the most of any player in the NBA. And it's just, you got to wonder what it is, because Suns, we talked about in the regular season, like, oh man, they can hurt you in so many ways of all these players. And they just went cold, it felt like.
Yeah,
and
they did.
Jalen Brunson took over. Luka took over. I believe Spencer Dinwiddie in the elimination game was going off in that one. So it felt like the Mavs just woke up in that one and just kind of silenced everybody and put a big-time upset on the team that everybody thought was going to make it to the championship.
Yeah, I mean, everybody pretty much penciled in Warriors Suns for that Western Conference Finals once Golden State beat Memphis on Friday. But yeah, props to the Mavericks. I mean, Luka's special, and Luka is a superstar in this league, and is going to be the ultimate face of the league, in the years coming. Like, he's that good. And I think we all know that. But the Suns, man, I hate it for Chris Paul. I mean, it's whatever. Obviously, he has a ton of haters. I like Chris Paul, but the Suns' darling year was last year. Like, last year they were like, "Ooh, wow, Phoenix has been so bad for so long, and now they're finally getting it together." Oh, and also, Chris Paul's here. It's time to win him one. And obviously, they ran into Giannis last year. And it was an amazing NBA Finals. But like, they were the darlings last year, and now this year I'm kind of glad they lost. I don't know why that is. It's so crazy how things just switch up. Like, I mean, I was so high on them last year, and then they let me down, and Giannis got the title, which is fine. I like Milwaukee too, but now I'm just kind of like, you know what? Phoenix sucks. Screw Phoenix. Why should they have anything nice? But they are a good team, and Chris Paul said he's going to run it back again, so we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I think they have plenty of talent to win a championship. 100%. Are they going to do it? I don't know. That the West keeps getting tougher and tougher.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the Warriors are going to come out here and win a title and be back to their old days. Well, old days, back to their days 6-7 years ago. But
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, of course. And of course, you have moves with the Lakers. Are anticipating some kind of moves they're going to make. I don't know if you saw what Russell Westbrook has been talked about. Teams are saying they want at least 1, maybe 2 first-round picks for him. Was what the Lakers would give up.
Look, bro, I love Westbrook, but come on now.
Yeah. So, and the Lakers, I don't think have any first-round picks until I think JJ Redick's the other, like 2025, something like that. So
that's fine. I'm a Laker hater, and that's not even because of LeBron. I hated the Lakers way back in the day. I hated him when Kobe was there. God rest his soul. Yeah. But I cannot stand Kobe Bryant. I hated him, and I hated Pau Gasol. Those teams used to frustrate me so bad.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are just like, I mean, I guess it's a trope of all Los Angeles teams except the Clippers. But like an LA team, like it's like the Dodgers. Like, I can't stand them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Yankees. Like, screw them. I hate them.
Patriots. Any big dynasty, Cowboys, Steelers.
Yeah. And then you just add in the fact that LeBron's there, and I can't stand LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that he's not great. He is amazing, and he is the best player of all time. Or well, yeah, it's a heated debate. I don't know. I don't even like to say it, but he's amazing. He's a heck of a basketball player. One of, if not the greatest of all time. But screw him and screw the Lakers. I hope they lose every game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what was it that we said a few weeks ago? He said some LeBron to Portland.
Sacramento. Please send him to Sacramento.
LeBron to Sacramento.
Please send him to Sacramento.
Yeah.
They need,
and then make the
everybody.
Lakers just the 2013 Trailblazers. Run it back with them.
You know what's sad? You could have put LeBron on that Kings team this year, and they would have finished with a better record than the Lakers.
Yeah, they probably would.
They weren't far off anyway.
They really weren't. They really weren't. Oh man! So
look, they were 3 games behind the Lakers. I think if you put LeBron on that Kings team, yeah, I mean they're dang near in the playoff.
Yeah, like
they'll be in the playoffs if that happens. That's sad. That's real sad.
Oh man!
But if they bring Damian Lillard to LA, I'm gonna die.
I know.
I love Lillard. I love Lillard, but God, that would frustrate me.
Mm-hmm. Again, just send the Trailblazers there. Bring back Alan Crabb and bring back bring back Batum. Bring back everybody, man. CJ McCollum, bring them all back.
Yep.
But put them in LA, and I will be a Lakers fan.
Yep. Mo Harkless.
Yes, Mo Harkless, bring him back too. Yeah, so that's how the West, and we'll get to the Western Finals. But in the East, Miami wrapped it up against Philadelphia. I think before last time we recorded, they may have. I think they were in that game. So
I think they were, because I think the last time we talked, we ripped apart Joel. They hadn't quite lost yet.
Yeah, but they were down 3-1. They were basically, it was over. Yeah.
Yeah, they did lose though, which sorry, David, but it's yeah, I was happy.
Yeah. I mean, now it's wondering, do you bring back James Harden? Because it kind of worked, but
I don't know. I mean, Joel Embiid, for everything that I've said about him, is an unbelievable basketball player and somebody that you could definitely build around in order to win a championship. But I mean, does Harden still have it? Does Harden still have enough to be that guy?
Right.
I feel like we saw glimpses of it in one of those games. But it's definitely not as consistent. He's not what he was 5 years ago. No, 100%. But
I mean, you got to keep Tyrese Maxey now, because he kind of carried you in those playoffs at times.
Yeah, that kid's good.
So now it's kind of like you can't trade him away. So it's like,
yeah,
you got to give up something with him. So, and then who you get?
Who they need freaking Jimmy Butler back.
They do. They really do.
They could really benefit from having Jimmy Butler back.
I mean,
and you know what? They could benefit from obviously Ben Simmons not falling off a cliff and just, being a complete idiot. But
yeah, I mean, you heard Embiid say he wished they had Jimmy Butler. You heard Butler say he loved playing with Embiid. So it's kind of wild that just didn't work out at the time. So
I know they got daggered by Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi killed that team. And
Kawhi took over the NBA in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It was because we always knew that he was good in San Antonio.
Yeah.
But he was down there with a hell of a supporting cast in, Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. And they won a couple titles, and Kawhi got finals MVP, I think, whatever, and all that. And then he made his free agent move. And then it was kind of like, oh, wow. Yeah, he's something. And there was a lot of buzz around it because he was hurt, and he goes to Toronto, obviously brings them a championship, and then it's just like Kawhi Leonard's the best player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes to the Clippers, and
Clippers fall face the earth. So.
Now you know how that is. So
yeah. That's just wild. See what he did, but interesting to see what Sixers will do in the future. Sure. Looking at the other Eastern final game with Game 7, Boston-Milwaukee. This series was a lot of fun, and then had a wet fart of an ending thanks to Grant Williams, of all people, going off. We've seen the Al Horford game. We've seen the Giannis game. We've seen Jason Tatum take over, and I would not have suspected that. Hey, who's going to take over in this one? Grant Williams. But props to him. He was an active player in college, and
young boy to Tennessee.
Now you look at that, and he comes up big for the Celtics. They roll over Milwaukee, so defending champs out. Don't make the finals and don't have a chance to defend their title as Boston continues to surge. Again, this is a team that was, I think, right at 500 near the All-Star break. Wasn't looking great with the 8 seed and shot up all the way to get that 2 seed. And just an incredible job this year by the Celtics. I know they got a first-year coach as well. And just a heck of a year for the Celtics, too.
Yeah, they've been amazing. Obviously, going from the literal bottom to the top in a matter of half a season. And Milwaukee always solid, and as long as Giannis Antetokounmpo is still playing at this level, they're going to be ultra competitive, and they're going to be always up there, especially if they keep together the core of Drew Holiday and Middleton. Now, I think that they hurt from not having Middleton.
Yeah.
For this series, but I think had he been there, it could have been a lot different. Even without him, they took it to a game 7. So, but props to the Celtics. They've been playing really good. And Bobby Portis. Love Bobby Portis.
Bobby.
What a guy. I always pull for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like the Bucks, they're just kind of banged up toward the end. And, I mean, Drew Holiday had to shoot the ball 21 times. You never see that. That it was, and plus they only made, as a team, went 4-33 from deep to the Bucks. Grant Williams had 7 3-pointers by himself. So when that's happened, they made 22 3-pointers made for the Celtics in that final game, including 4 by Pritchard. That was the other guy who took over off the bench, 17 points off the bench. That was just, Celtics couldn't miss. That's why you play for those higher seeds, because you get the advantage at home. Celtics play really good in Boston. Those fans are incredible. And it showed in this game. And so Celtics got to give it up for them getting back here, have completely turned that around from, just, a few years ago, they were pretty good, kind of fell off a bit, and now back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Big ups to the Celtics. Like you said, I think you got to keep that Drew Holiday, Middleton, Antetokounmpo collection together. Interesting to see if they make any moves this offseason to kind of help them out a little bit.
I mean, all 3 of those guys are still playing their best basketball. So, I mean, there's plenty of time to capitalize on another finals run and win another championship for Milwaukee.
Yeah. I think you just got to find some supporting staff. Now, Grayson Allen, they tried to put into that role. He didn't play great at times in this series. Pat Connaughton had some good numbers, but also had some games where he was just horrible. But then, like you said, Bobby Portis, I think, was solid for the most part. He was a solid rebounder for sure. So, if they can find, I think, probably maybe one more other guy, I think they can make another run for sure. Can the Bucks? Get another title. So that brings us to the Eastern Conference Finals, and so they're getting ready to start. When we're recording on a Wednesday, it's Game 5. It's tied at 2 apiece. I think every game in this series has been a blowout.
Yeah, that's been weird, man. Like
these finals, like after all the lead up, because these playoffs were pretty close. Other than Game 3 was a 6-point game, which I feel like was maybe because of a run. But the Celtics scored 31, outscored the Heat 31-22 in the fourth. And by that point, the Heat had 26-point first half lead, but 39-18 at one point in this game. So this entire series has just been blowouts from the start. But now it's a best of 3 series. So
it is. Hopefully these games will tighten up a little bit. I mean, they've been fine games, and there have been some comebacks, but I mean, there's been so lopsided at some point. And that goes for the Western Conference one as well. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But both teams are just, has it been only the home teams? Has anybody stole a game?
The Heat stole a game, and the Celtics stole a game.
They each did. So
they've each won one game at home, one game away. So it's been back and forth, but it's just been blowouts. No, it hasn't been close at all.
Yeah, we haven't gotten the opportunity to see another Al Horford game. Praise God.
The thing I'm worried about though is, and I think I believe it was JJ Redick talking about this. Whoever wins this has been so banged up, and especially the Heat. The Heat look at Kyle Lowry day to day, Max Struss day to day, PJ Tucker day to day, Tyler Hero day to day. The Celtics, Sam Hauser's out, and then Marcus Smart is day to day. Robert Williams is day to day. They've been playing hard, and so it's going to be interesting to see if this goes 7 games. And we'll go ahead and talk about the West. The Warriors can end the Western Series tomorrow.
Yes,
they can. They could have ended it the other night in a sweep, but they didn't. So the Warriors, you got to think, unless something crazy happens, are going to be done, and they're going to have a lot of time to rest and a lot of time to get ready.
Yeah.
This series is probably going to go 7. It's at least going to go 6. We know for sure, but it's going to be whoever gets out of the East is going to be banged up, and they got one, and then it's going to be like the turnaround to play is so quick because of the networks and how everything works. It's going to be interesting to see. Right now, Miami's a little worse for wear, but again, who's going to step up and. Maybe it is an Al Horford game. Maybe
it could be.
Maybe it's a Kyle Lowry game. He stepped up for the Heat in those wins. It's been him that's been facilitating everything. So maybe it's somebody we don't think about a whole lot coming out of nowhere and just having a game like we saw Grant Williams and Paul Pritchard in the game 7. So who knows what could happen? It's been a fun series, even if the games have just been absolute blowouts.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think somebody said, and especially because the Western ones have been blowouts too. I said, "Boy, I love these blowouts. Can't wait to see it again tomorrow."
Yeah.
And what's fun?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
I hate to say this because obviously I am biased, but I mean, you look at that Warriors Grizzlies series and I feel like that should have been the finals. That should have been the Western Conference Finals. Not that Dallas isn't good. Dallas, Luka's amazing. But his supporting cast is not what Memphis is. So that brings the question. I've seen people debating this, and I really don't know the answer to this. If you put Luka on that Memphis team, do they fare any better, in place of John Morant?
They might, in all honesty, because I feel like the Grizzlies can shoot better than the rest of the supporting cast. Now, of course, we've seen Dinwiddie and Brunson go off.
Yeah.
But Maxi Cleaver ain't dropping back to step 3.
Yeah, and Bullock for Dallas has been fine, but obviously the other night he was awful.
Yeah.
It was 0 of 10.
Yeah. That Troy Snell game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's an interesting question because I don't really know. I think that both players are dominant and both players are going to get theirs. But I really don't think one brings an element that the other doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I think
they play very similar.
I think they'll cancel each other out.
Yeah. They play very similar. I think Luka's bigger, so he's going to charge in for more rebounds.
Yeah.
But Ja can drive for sure. And I mean, you saw it against the Timberwolves at the game winner where he just drove right in and took all the contact. So
the only outlier that I think there is that Memphis's team defense is way better than Dallas's.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that would 100% affect it. It would definitely affect the Warriors. We're seeing, the Warriors have blown them out 3 times, in this series already.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think Memphis's team defense would help out a ton. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, if you just put Luka on the Grizzlies, they would have won, because I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Looking at the series, it's a 3-1 lead for the Warriors. It was a 3-0 lead. Of course, they lost the other night. Blowout win for the Mavs. Just a game where the Mavs finally showed up to shoot because the supporting cast hadn't been shooting well at all entering that game. And then all of a sudden the Mavs jump out to the big lead. They almost blew it. They had
they did.
They had a rain delay in a basketball game. There was a hole in the roof. And so they had to fix that. And after that, Golden State scored 39 points in the fourth quarter. Grant, Dallas had outscored 34-23 in the second and 37-23 in the third. So, but I mean, no lead is safe. But the starting 5, Curry was only 2 of 5 from deep. Klay Thompson only 2 of 6 from deep. So they had off nights. They just weren't getting the threes to fall. They weren't shooting as many. Dorian Finney-Smith went 4 from 7 from deep, and Reggie Bullock went 6 of 10 from deep. So that's what you need to have.
am I wrong when I think like I do vividly remember Bullock at North Carolina because that was like early 2010s, like
Yeah,
when Duke would obviously won a title in 2010, and then we went through a couple of years where both North Carolina and Duke were like good, but they're not like that great.
yeah,
And they just had those players. Like those are the players I remember. But
yeah.
and Bullock, but was he like a 3-point specialist in college? I don't think he was.
I really don't think he was. If I
I mean,
can,
I think he definitely took his fair share of 3-pointers, but I mean, literally, he comes out for Dallas and all he does is just shoot threes.
yeah, and I don't think that's what you need him to do. I think you need him to pass. Let's see. He shot North Carolina. His senior year, he averaged about 6 3-point attempts a game, and he did shoot 43%, but only 6 attempts a game. So
Yeah.
and his
Who
freshman
else
year.
is there? Harrison Barnes.
Let me look at his senior year. So senior year, wrong thing. So.
Kendall Marshall, Harrison Barnes, maybe.
That sounds right. Let me see. Senior year was James McAdoo, Marcus Page, PJ Hairston, Bryce Johnson, JP Tokoto.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Now let me see. His freshman year might have been.
I'm sure. Okay, I mean, I'm sure they were there at some point together.
Yeah. His freshman year, was Tyler Zeller, Harrison Barnes, Larry Drew. Those guys were his freshman year. So
senior year,
John Henson.
That was a young Bryce Johnson. That Bryce Johnson wasn't the Bryce Johnson that we came to know.
Yeah, for sure.
It was good.
Yeah, but he increased his 3-pointers throughout, but I mean, he didn't take more than 6 a game until this.
Yeah, I just feel. I mean, I know that back in college he had more in his bag than just shooting threes. Now, obviously, he hasn't had a fantastic NBA career anyway. I kind of forgot about him until the Mavs started making a playoff run. But
his senior year, he averaged double digits for the first time. He averaged 13.9 points a game, but I think it's because he really led that offense. So
yeah,
because that team was fine, 25 and 11. That team was not horrible, but I mean, if you look at that team, I don't know who you get. Marcus Page is the only other guy you're getting offense out of, and that's freshman Marcus Page. So and freshman Bryce Johnson. So
yeah.
So he was your leader, basically. Him and James Michael McAdoo were your leaders, probably. So that wasn't a great team, but it does feel like he just jacks up threes. I mean, this season, let's see, how many has he attempted this season? I mean, he's still. This is about he's still shooting about 5, 6 a game, 3-pointers a game, and that's the regular season, of course. But I do feel like, I mean, he's jacked up. Yet this season he has shot 390 in the regular season. Now this is count playoffs, 392 3-point attempts. That's the second most of his career. He shot 398 last year with the Knicks. So he's tried to become a 3-point shooter. I don't know if that's out of just necessity because they're like, hey, nobody else can shoot a 3, go out there and do it, or if he's trying to change his game or what. But that is interesting now that you talk about it. I really haven't noticed him as much of a shooter until this year when he's tried to. But and again, that's one of those guys you got to get going, as you saw, and because Luka legit can't do it all, especially against the Warriors. I mean, they got lucky they had off night, but again, fourth quarter happens, they can turn around just like that. Can the Warriors if they decide to go off? I mean, even Draymond Green's pulling up for 3 now, and some are going in. So, I fully expect the Warriors to close this out. Especially if they get to go back on to the Chase Center.
Yeah, I do too.
That's going to be that's a tough place to play. I would not be surprised if the Warriors blow them out and then wait and see if they get the Heat or the Celtics.
Yeah.
So, should be exciting NBA Finals, though. I'm kind of pulling for the Celtics because the Heat are so banged up, and I feel like that'd be a better series for the Celtics and the Warriors.
I mean, I would like to see. It's nothing against Miami. They've done a great job. They obviously have Jimmy Butler and they have Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo and all them. But like, just for the Jason Tatum to pop off
Yeah.
for 55, and then Curry and Clay to combine for 77 the next game. Like this, that would just unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched the possibilities there. So
just give me 149 to 147 every single game. I just want that.
Yeah.
Somebody just go off, play no defense, do something stupid. And Al Horford go off, please. Just
yeah, I'm a sicko. I want Al Horford and Kevon Looney to be in the paint together, battling it out.
in there.
That is my idea of a perfect finals.
They average 22 points, 22 rebounds in the series. Let's go.
And I want Draymond and Marcus Smart to drop the gloves and fight.
Series. We laugh, but they would. They really would.
with Jason Tatum watching with his arms around Curry and Clay because they're all boys and they're all really nice guys.
Just laughing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be something. So yeah, NBA.
And then Andrew Wiggins is over there just like, hey. don't forget that I'm here and I'm better than I used to be.
Speaking of that dunk by Andrew Wiggins over Luka was disgusting. Icing on the cake for that blowout, and I was like, oh my. So yeah, that was with a 5-point lead late, kind of coming up clutch too.
Yeah,
for them. So yeah. So NBA has been entertaining. Been a lot of fun in the playoffs. We will now move to our other favorite playoffs, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs.
Before we do that, can we talk about one thing?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about fan-controlled football?
I know. See, I signed up for it, but I could never have time to watch it. But I know you have an app and you get to call plays and stuff like that, and it's on Twitch. and I know T.O.'s playing in it, right?
Yes, I saw that.
And then isn't Michael Vick playing in it now or something?
I think so.
Yeah, some other old quarterback. Is it him or Donovan McNabb are going to play in it?
But. Yeah, I think I'm trying to decipher this. This thing that I saw on Twitter. I'm pretty sure this guy plays for the Zappers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see. Do they have rosters? I don't know. I have no idea.
I think they have a weekly draft or something weird.
All right. Anywho, the quarterback's name for, let's just say, this game was Jason Stewart, who used to be the quarterback at Memphis. He was the 2013 Memphis Tigers. What's in his Twitter bio? So this mug throws a touchdown and then pulls a joint out of his pants and smokes it on the field. And my mind is really just blown by everything that I saw just now on my phone. And some people calling it the greatest touchdown celebration ever. And you know what? Regardless of your thoughts on marijuana, I mean, that's pretty ballsy.
You will never see that in the NFL.
Yeah, you're not going to see.
You won't see it in the USFL either because no one's watching, but you won't see it either.
As much as some players might want to, you're not going to see that Deebo Samuel pull out the joint on national TV on a Sunday with Scott Hansen. Scott Hansen be like, oh, he's pulling out the joint.
Lighting up the Raiders and lighting up San Fran. Deebo Samuel.
I just thought that was so wild. Like, well, this is an unhinged league.
I loved it.
I know it's legal in a ton of places now, but like still, it just kind of blows my mind.
I know they play all their games somewhere near Atlanta, and I know Quavo had his birthday party there, and I think he played quarterback in the game, which is hilarious. Like in a legit regular season game, they put Quavo at quarterback for a quarter.
The only thing that would have made it better is if it would have not have been this kid, it would have been Johnny Manziel that lit up the blunt. Like that would have been the icing on the cake. Yes. Greatest thing I've ever seen. Just stop everything else. NFL doesn't even need to have celebrations anymore. Like you're not going to top that.
Nothing's going to top that.
You're not going to top Johnny Manziel going through everything that he's ever been through, and then eventually culminating. Like just put up a picture of Johnny Manziel holding up the Heisman, and then just be like, fast forward, lighting up a blunt in the fan control football league. Well, how did we get here?
Oh man.
But I just wanted to throw that out about that because that's kind of wild.
That's wild. Yeah. I don't even know how to go from that.
I don't either. Here, all right. Well, so now we're gonna
We're gonna talk hockey now.
We're just gonna talk hockey. So we're gonna light up the blunt, but now we're gonna chill out on the ice. All right. How about that? Yeah.
When we're recording, one game that can close out: Colorado Avalanche, St. Louis Blues. Avalanche looking dominant. They swept the Predators real quick. This one they had one bad, weird game against the Blues that you thought, oh man, maybe the Blues are gonna play it. Well, first game went to OT. Avalanche won. Then the Blues stole one in Denver. You're thinking, okay, it's gonna be it. And the Avalanche rolled 5-2 and 6-3 in St. Louis. So now looks like a chance. Of course, you've seen Nazem Kadri. Yeah, he's gotten a lot of crap from the crowd. So that stuff, but he silenced them real quick in the last game. And again, playoff hockey, man, just been a fantastic, been a good series. But you gotta wonder what's going to happen here. Of course, with Blues, Jordan Bennington, their goalie is out, so that's going to be a lot tough for them to climb out of that hole for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been keeping up with this series too much, but I mean, Colorado's been playing pretty well. So I would probably expect them, especially at home, to close it out.
Looking over Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. 2-2 is that series. That one's been kind of back and forth, I believe. Yeah, that one's been Hurricanes took a 2-0 lead. Rangers won the last two, so the home teams won every single game. It's back in Raleigh tomorrow, or today if you're listening on Thursday. That's just a tough place to play is Raleigh because they have really gotten into that team. Only 8 home losses this year for the Hurricanes, which is insane. That's going to be. I mean, you saw what happened to Boston when they had to come down to series. These were the two best teams in that division. Series has been very, very back and forth, and could be a lot of fun. Sebastian Aho has been a lot of fun to watch as well for the Canes. I was wondering what the other series was. I forgot this was a sweep. Tampa Bay Lightning have a chance to three-peat because they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. They sweep the Florida Panthers. The Panthers have to win their first series since 1996. Get swept by their in-state rival. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that definitely sucks. And you know what? I'm sick of Tampa Bay. Sick of the Lightning. They've gotten way too much. And Florida, you let me down. But you know what? Am I surprised? No.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, every year you feel like if you follow hockey, you feel like the Panthers are like, their goalie stinks, and their goalie did again. Other than game 2 was 2-1, where the Lightning scored literally with 3 seconds left in regulation.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough.
In Miami to steal a game. That's awful for any. Yeah. I don't wish that on any fan base.
That sucks.
3 seconds left on the road, score a goal to win it 2-1, and just dominating Tampa to win the series. That's heartbreaking for sure. 2 of these losses also happened the same night the Heat lost, which is like Miami going through it right now. So. Yeah,
not great. I'm sure the Marlins probably lost too. So.
Marlins lost. Dolphins aren't even playing. They probably lost somehow too. Just absolute pain. But I mean, at least the Panthers got out of the first round.
That's true.
What you can say, but I mean,
they can say more than Toronto. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they more than Toronto has done past few years. So then we move up to Canada for Waffles, Calgary Flames.
The Battle of Alberta, baby.
Battle of Alberta has been a lot of fun. This has been fun rivalry. First game, banger, 9-6.
First game was crazy.
That game. No one could stop scoring. Second game, 5-3, still a banger. But Flames lose that one, and the next one goes to Edmonton. And the Oilers roll 4-1. Next game, the Oilers got up early 3-0.
Yep, tied it up. Flames tied it up with a wild goal from across from the opposite blue line. That got right past Mike Smith and tied it up at 3, and then just blew it, lost it with 3 minutes left, gave up a goal, and here we are, 3-1.
Yep. And so now series moves back to Calgary. You gotta win the rest of these games with the Flames. Series moves back to Calgary. That place is going to be rocking. Man.
Yeah.
That's it's going to be a tough series, especially with Connor McDavid.
But you know what? I mean, I'm a Flames fan for life, man. Biggest fan ever. But I'm happy for. It's nice to see Edmonton on the brink of a Western Conference Finals because they've been trashed for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And they got McDavid, who was like a generational talent and has been great. And now it's finally paying off. And albeit with Evander Kane, and he's not the best person, I don't think. But
no.
Anywho, good for Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah, they have really turned that around there after years of just wandering in the wilderness, felt like, for the Oilers. Yeah.
And you know what? This is just the beginning of my Flames fandom. Like there's plenty more time to get it right. So we'll figure it out.
Exactly. Big Flames fan, Waffle Cantrell.
Yeah. Massive. Jerome McGinley, my favorite player of all time.
Absolutely.
You know what? Now that I am a self-proclaimed biggest Flames fan ever, I kind of miss the old jerseys. I miss the blacks.
Yeah,
where the black jerseys at? I love the red and the yellows, the red and the gold, whatever you want to call it. Like it's bright, it's vibrant, but people in the stands, everybody in the stands still wearing the old jersey. I love the old jersey. Bring it back.
Bring back the horse head. Just bring back that.
Or the horse head.
Yeah. Bring back those. Yeah, that's but no, it's been a fun series. Again, like we said, hockey playoffs, probably the best playoffs out there.
They are good.
And they've been a lot of fun to watch for sure. And now we go to the sport that none of this matters right now still. It's
absolutely baseball. It is not going to matter for another 3 months.
Yep. That's like Atlanta Braves coming in the 20-23, and people are talking about, oh, they've had some struggles. Yeah, they have, but yeah, remember they weren't over 500 till August 5th.
Right. And they were the at this point of the season last year, they had the same exact record.
Yeah. Like Acuna has been kind of up and down, had some tightness. He's going to be out of the game that's being played tonight. He's not playing in because of some tightness. Still trying to get him back to healthy. Yeah, there are some things you need to worry about. Like they left a bunch of runners on base last night, I believe. I think 15 on base the other night in the game against the Phillies. Now they scored 2 runs. They had a walk-off, though, the other night against the Phillies. So, I mean, they've done good things. We saw them against San Diego. They had a lead, gave it up, and then brought back right back. So,
yeah,
it's just, it's early still. I mean, 43 games in of a 162 game season. Until you get too close to the All-Star break, things are working out now. You probably need to panic a little bit, but I mean,
right,
nothing to worry about yet. If you're a Braves fan, I don't think, unless it just starts snowballing and you start losing a bunch of games. Speaking of a team that loses a bunch of games, they had Cincinnati Reds have 12 wins. They have 30 losses. They have 12 wins. And
look at them.
They have lost 2 in a row. They also, I think we did not talk about this. They threw a no-hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Pirates and lost.
Yeah.
1-0. Because it was a fielder's choice that got the out and scored a run. Yeah. That is a special kind of hell you're living in.
Yes, it 100% is. It's a fate that I don't wish on anybody. But you know what? It's sad that we ripped him last week. But David, this is David's life, and I'm so sorry, David.
Yeah, Joey Votto still has not hit a home run yet either. So that's also another type of torture. And then looking at the NL Central, other than the Cards and the Brewers, God, everybody's just going for it right now. Everybody's just kind of playing baseball and having fun, getting exercise and fresh air.
Are they having fun?
I mean, the Reds and Pirates probably aren't. The Cubs probably aren't. I feel like the Cubs have fun no matter what, but man.
I don't have a stake in the fight, and I'm not having fun. But you know who's also creeping up there that's terrible is Washington.
Washington is slowly getting really bad, and
they're 5-17 at home. They are awful in Washington.
Yeah, and it's like you have Juan Soto. He's a very good player, and it's like, we're just gonna let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and then of course, like the Braves, obviously 20-23 is whatever, but they have a negative 14 run differential because of course they do. I mean, who it wouldn't make any sense for them to have a positive run differential. No way.
Looking at the Nationals, how bad they are. They haven't won a series since May 1st. They won 2 after against the Giants. Since then, they haven't been swept. They've only won just 1 game.
You.
in a series.
That's
So,
that's the definition of mediocre, but we're trending to be terrible.
yeah. Like you're bad, but you're not garbage yet. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're not no hitter and lose garbage,
no, you're
but
not there yet. But man, yeah, Nationals,
yeah,
not good. And of course, the two best teams in baseball by record are the Yankees and Dodgers. I hate it. I hate life. I know none of this matters yet, but it still
yeah.
bothers
Still
me.
waiting, as the days pass. I know there's a long season, but as the days pass, and I keep looking at the Mets in first place, I'm just still waiting on the fall.
Oh, there have been cracks. I have seen games where they've given up big leads, or I've seen games where they just go
Yeah,
cold. I'm like, this is gonna happen. It's
yeah,
gonna happen in August again, as it always does. So
yeah.
Los Angeles Angels still 27-17 win record, second.
We'll take that, please. I want them to win the World Series this year so bad.
Yeah. Mariners have slipped a bit. They are on 18-26. And
Yeah,
again,
they
they're
hadn't
playing
done
in a
really
tough
good.
division. That's not going to help them.
Yeah,
That's not going to help in this playoff drought. So
it's not going too well for them.
it again doesn't help when you have to play the Angels and the Astros all the time. But I mean,
This
you
is
got
true.
just go beat the Rangers and the A's. They're horrible too. They're
Yeah.
not very good. I mean, the A's, no one will see you play them. Come on, just do them.
The Baltimore Orioles called up their number one prospect. Is it Adley Rushman? Is that his name?
Yeah, catcher.
So good for them.
They have been horrible.
I really wish that they would be good, but I know that they're not going to be good for a long time. But, good for that kid. The video, like when he took the field for the first time, and like you saw him like do a 360, and he looked around like that. That's a cool moment.
Yeah, that's really cool for him. Video where he gets called up to really cool. Gets called in the office, get called up. It's cool.
Yeah.
Red Sox might be the hottest team in baseball. They've won 6 straight over the last 10. So they finally got 20 wins. So they're starting to figure it out. It looks like.
That's a highly competitive division. Just with
Yeah,
Yankees obviously playing good. The Rays with no fans are still good, and then Toronto's just kind of there. Like I feel like Toronto can be very, very good, but they just don't want to.
Yeah, I mean they got young talent. They got Biggio, they got Guerrero, so and they got some great pitching. But it's just like tough division, and I feel like somebody always just beats them somehow.
Yeah.
White Sox are second in the Central behind the Twins. I feel like that's the only two teams in the AL Central that matter. Because Guardians, Tigers, and Royals, just kind of there. So,
right.
Yeah. And then, and then the NL West, still good. Every 3 teams have win record. Rockies are 20-23. So, they have a run differential of -33, though. I just saw the Pirates run differential was -83. Good God Almighty.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh man,
I mean, when you're worse than Cincinnati at something, you're not doing anything right.
Yeah. Just looking at the run differentials, the teams at the bottom, you can kind of tell how good these divisions are. Like, but the Jays are third with a -7 run differential, and the Red Sox are fourth with a +14. So. The White Sox have a -35 run differential and are second in the Central. So that tells you how the AL Central is. And the White Sox are also right at 500. So that's, again, none of this matters.
No.
This will go on. This season's going to take forever. I mean, 162 games. By late June, early July is when it starts mattering, I feel like.
Right.
And then you're really ready to get rolling. If there are problems, that's when you got to talk about them. So we'll see. Hopefully Braves, again, they're right in the same spot they were last year. I don't think there's any way to panic yet.
I don't either.
Yeah. So more will be closed there and be like, all right, this is dead. But we had some college football drama drop in. As y'all know, NIL. This has kind of changed everything a bit here. Kids signing probably just where they want to get bigger money. Jordan Addison kind of said that. That's why I left Pitt and went out to USC. And again, I say go get the bag, do whatever you can there. Hopefully you're happy. But again, it's caused some disturbances. And Nick Saban, who normally kind of reserved, doesn't really talk a lot about other coaches. Comes out, talks about, and says, we lost a kid to Texas A&M because they were throwing money at him. And, he said this means that while we weren't legal. Texas A&M just had their best signing day class ever, number one class in the country from multiple sites, 7 5-star recruits. Jimbo was not happy at all. Said he's done with Nick Saban. Nick Saban tried to call him to talk about it. Said he was done. He called a press conference just to say he was done with Nick Saban. Say he didn't cheat and say that it's bullcrap for him to talk about that when Alabama's been on top for so long. How did he get those players? So kind of a mess, but again, it gives us something to talk about if you're waiting for college football to start.
Yeah, no, oh man, a lot of drama, a lot of unnecessary comments, but at the same time, is Nick Saban wrong? No, I don't think that he's wrong. I think that there's credit to what he's saying. Like, I mean, people brought up the point, what is the meme with A&M? They can do whatever the hell they want to do, and they can get all these players in. And what are they going to do? Go 8-4.
8-4, finish third in the West every year.
And they might have that win over Alabama like they did last year, but they're still going to finish like just above middle of the pack. And
go to the Outback Bowl. Like,
what is the leading factor? They've always been able to recruit. We know that. But I mean,
they had Johnny Manziel, the best quarterback ever.
To all of a sudden get this type of influx of talent. I mean, I get it. I see where Saban's coming from, but also Saban, like, come on, bro. Like, you are the best. I think anybody will acknowledge that. Like, I think you have the means to overcome that. So
yeah.
You're fine. And I'm telling Alabama's got NIL money. I know they do.
Oh God, yeah, of course they do. Them boosters got that money.
And this all boils back down to the original argument of all, the biggest argument of all time surrounding college sports in general, but especially college football is, my thing is that, yes, NIL is what it is, and it's technically, it is legal now, but football teams and booster clubs and athletic departments and whoever have been given money to players since the beginning of time. And Alabama's done it, South Carolina's done it, Clemson's done it. I guarantee you, everybody's done it one way or another. You cannot tell me that every program is just wish-wash, clean, dry. No,
and if you haven't, your team hasn't won anything. I'm just saying.
And but then you could be like South Carolina and you still haven't won anything. God, I hate myself. All right, I couldn't resist. But you can't tell me, you cannot tell me that they didn't dangle something in front of Jadeveon Clowney's face to be like, hey, bro, come to South Carolina. I mean, I know your GPA is like a 0.7 and you really couldn't probably go anywhere else, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, Robert in DK is the biggest one at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
coming to Clemson. Okay, great, sure, coming to Clemson, and all of a sudden, I'm going to Ole Miss, and all of a sudden it's like, why are all these good players going to the middle of nowhere Ole Miss, who has been average for the past 10 years?
Yeah.
And then you saw what happened. Houston Nutt gets fired, and now Lane Kiffin, unfortunately, Lane Kiffin's built back up a bit.
Yeah. Something I see a lot with South Carolina fans. Obviously, South Carolina likes to talk trash about Clemson and New Spring, blah, blah, blah. Whatever's going on there, blah, blah, blah. But it's always been about that New Spring money. And like, you see some of these Clemson players and they get recruited by Clemson and they say, I'm going to Clemson. And all of a sudden they're driving Scat Pack, Dodge Challengers, and Scat Pack, all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, where's it coming from? Like, but it's not just them, it's everybody. Like, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, this whole thing, like, there's truth on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, should Saban have called Jimbo out, by personally like that? No. Does Jimbo have the right to rebuttal him back? Of course.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, A&M's going to go 8-4 and Alabama's going to play for an SEC title.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how it goes.
What's even funnier is a week after this happened, Alabama stole a recruit that was originally going to Texas A&M. So, like, and I think it was a 4-star wide receiver or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
but this is as good of a time as any to talk about one of my favorite people of all time, and that is Steve Spurrier, because he had to give his 2 cents,
Of course.
and that was just amazing. And he kind of takes the side that I took here. I mean, he comes in and says, is what Nick Saban said not true? And I'm just like, well, you know what? You have a point, Steve. But God bless, man. Yeah, Steve Spurrier always got to get into it, and then Spurrier's just got some of the best one-liners of all time.
Steve is the menace to society, and I love him for it. Like, hated that man because he had the streak and all that against Clemson.
Right.
God, the one-liners are phenomenal, and
yeah, I mean, you say whatever the heck you want to about him, but I mean, the man's hilarious.
Yeah,
I just put your fandom aside. That boy is crazy.
I'm just glad during all of this talking about NIL, I'm like, Dabo, don't say a word. Don't say a dang word, son. Don't say anything.
But but look, I'll give Dabo credit where credit's due. He was the first one to really come out and say, hey, this kind of stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But I still can't get over, like, people are going to give him hell to the end of time, Richard.
For anything, yeah.
Just because he said that if the players start getting paid, he's going to quit. And obviously that's not going to happen.
No.
Him quitting is not going to happen.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, October 8th, Texas A&M, Alabama. CBS is going to have their day-night doubleheader that day.
Yeah.
So that's probably your 8:00 game right there. Go ahead and pencil it in. CBS already announced a bunch of games on CBS, mostly Mountain West games and a couple of good ones. But the first one's Arizona and San Diego State. I mean, without the punt guy, kind of disappointing. Colorado Air Force is an interesting one they're going to have on September 10th. Penn State and Auburn is going to be on CBS this year, so it won't be in primetime on ESPN like it was last year. It's going to be the 3:30.
Yeah, so 3:30 CBS, right?
Yeah.
That has me thinking that's the same weekend that South Carolina plays Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So,
primetime. Yeah.
I mean, you would think that would be the 3:30 CBS game, but I'm hoping that's going to mean it's primetime, which would be sick.
Might be primetime ESPN. Yeah,
like 7:15 ESPN game.
Yeah. But what about Clemson, Louisiana Tech that week?
Well,
that's probably primetime ACC Network when those games get stupid. So you know what?
That is true. No, it'd be 4:00 ACC Network.
Oh my God! Yeah, they're going to do that. They're going to try to fit in 5 games in one day on ACC Network. So I'll start at 2:30.
Oh, I know what we could talk about. There was something that was shared on Twitter about what is the best kickoff time for a college football game.
Yes.
And you and I had differing opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So yours is for the ideal time to kick off a football game as a spectator and a viewer, whether you're there or at home. Go.
3:30 p.m. I say is the best because you don't have to wake up too early if you're going.
Yeah.
You can go if you're going every single time. Now, people will go early, of course, tailgate all day still. But game ends at roughly 7:30. You can stay and tailgate for a good bit. If it's early in the year, you still have some sunlight left.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to get dark about halftime there, but still.
Yeah.
You still got some sunlight left. If you say go to the game and just leave, you're getting home at a reasonable time, like 11 o'clock probably, something like that. Depends how packed your stadium is, how big your stadium is, how many people stay, if it's a blowout, whatever. You have time to hang out, tailgate. You have time to watch the primetime games when you get home.
Yeah.
You can stay up and watch the late night games as well. So I think 3:30 is great, especially if you're watching at home too. It's watching at home. I understand why people wouldn't like it because middle of the day, you got to stop everything. I'm going to watch just my team because some people are like that. They're just like, I'm going to watch just this game. And it's the middle of the day. And you're like, oh, dang, there's other things going on. So, or if you have something going on, you have to stop everything in the middle of the day. Yeah. But I feel like it's late enough too in the afternoon where it's like I can get stuff done in the morning. Maybe I miss some of the noon games. Get at 3:30, sit down and watch that. And of course, dinner, it's kind of a weird time. Maybe if you eat late dinner or something, or if you cook something while you're eating, I get that. But I still 3:30, perfect time. I think.
Yeah, all right. So I love that. I'm a big fan of 3:30 games as well. But my favorite has always been either like a 6 o'clock or like even like a 7 o'clock ESPN primetime. But a 6 o'clock game, I feel like is absolutely perfect because you can be out. You can be out by 9:30, maybe 9 o'clock, depending on how quick it goes.
Yeah.
And you have sunlight, but it's pretty much like almost perfectly half and half. Like if you're a 3:30 game, excuse me, you're still gonna be getting out when it's daylight, which is fine. But
Yeah.
6 o'clock, you're gonna have daylight, and then you're also gonna have nighttime as well. So like the weather should be a factor. Let me just say this: a noon kickoff, get out.
No.
Boo.
No.
Yuck. The worst.
Especially in the first month of the season in the South.
Maybe not for watching at home, but definitely for watching.
If you're going, that's awful.
Specifically in Columbia, South Carolina, you are a better man than I, because I'm not doing it.
And Clemson's also horrible.
But starting your day at home at 12 is not terrible.
Yeah.
But 6 o'clock for me will forever be the best, because I mean you can see most of the primetime stuff too, and you just got to keep up with it like on your phone. You don't necessarily get to watch those at the house, but I like a later night game. Now primetime like ABC 8:30 is also gas too, but it's just a lot of waiting around.
Yeah. If it's your team playing in it, it's kind of big, but it's kind of like I can just watch this whatever and kind of chill to close the day out. But right. I hate also college football championship. Put it on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yes, that's so
Saturday,
stupid.
8:00. Don't put it on Monday. Come on.
Yes, and that goes for college basketball too. Put the freaking now college basketball on Mondays, whatever, but it should not have to start at 9 and 9:15. Like start at 7:30.
Yeah.
If you're on the West Coast, 8:30 at the latest.
Yeah. That's
like West Coast NCAA championship for basketball needs to have anthem going at 8:00, and they need to be playing at like 8:20.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know. I will say this though: if you're working a football game, you're like noon. You're like 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
every coach, if you ask any coach, they'll be like 9 a.m. Let's go. Get over with. They don't want to wait around at all. But
right, and I agree there.
But for the fans, yeah, probably later in the day for sure. I've seen.
Right.
There was that one year when Clemson was like, I think it was 2019. Clemson had so many noon games at home, and nobody knew why.
Yeah,
it was because everybody Clemson played was not that good, and it was like, God, stop being a noon game. I think their only night game at home was maybe South Carolina. I think. So it's just been, and those noon games in Death Valley are horrible, just awful. Hate them. But yeah,
been to enough of those. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I remember. I will say this: there was one 3:30 game Clemson played against Texas A&M in Clemson. That is the hottest game in Death Valley on record. It reached 109 degrees, I think. But if my parents went to it, I watched it at home, and I was like, "This looks awful." You could just you could see the lines of heat coming up the field. I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
oh no, not in my life could I do out there." So, yeah, very excited college football this year coming up pretty quickly. I think there's under 100 days for week 0 games. So we'll get ready for that. It's going to be exciting. This is probably going to be our last long pod of the summer. I'm starting a job next week with baseball, so I'll be doing that all summer. So we may have some little quick hits or something for you during the summer or something to keep you occupied, but that's about it. Thank y'all for listening for this so far. It's been a lot of fun. Glad y'all could hang out with us, enjoy our antics, and enjoy us just kind of shooting the breeze, really, for the most part in this. But it's a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get back, get something going when college football and NFL get rolling. Did we talk about the NFL schedule release any? I don't think we have. I think that happened while we were out. I mean, probably nothing too major to talk about, just Bills have a bunch of primetime games. That's about it.
Titans have 4 primetime games. I feel like did we no, I don't know if
we talked about the draft. I don't think we didn't
talk about the draft.
Yeah.
But I mean schedule release as no, I don't guess we did talk about it.
I mean, Bills have 6 primetime games. They have the opening night game against the Rams, which kind of expected, especially with Von Miller going to the Bills. Thanksgiving, they'll play, I believe. Who do they play on Thanksgiving? This is bad. I haven't even looked it up. I feel like they play the Lions. I think they're the Lions game. They do the Lions Cowboys. They are.
I don't think it's Cowboys.
They're the Lions. They're the Lions game.
Yep.
Yeah. They play back-to-back Thursday nights because they play the Patriots the next week on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they have the big Monday night football game, the last Monday night football game of the year against the Bengals. So,
yeah. Titans are home against the Giants at 4:30 to start the year, which is odd. But and then they play Monday night football against y'all in Buffalo.
mm-hmm.
We play the Colts twice within. We play the Colts twice within 4 weeks, but it's twice within 3 games because we go at Colts, at Commanders, bye week, home to the Colts, and I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of playing these. And why are neither of these Titans Colts games? Why is one of them not primetime?
Yeah,
because I mean, these are going to be the 2 best teams in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not primetime? And they haven't been primetime in at least 3 or 4 years. I don't get it.
Or at least 4:30.
Yeah. And then the following week, you're going to put us at Houston at 4:05.
Yeah.
Okay. We do play Kansas City on the road on Sunday Night Football. Great. Titans have 2 Thursday night games. I hate that. Why?
Yeah.
Why do we have 2 Thursday night games? And now one of them is before a bye week, which is hold on. No, we have a short week. We play Denver, and then we go at Green Bay, and then the next one is we play Christmas Eve because
Saturday. Yeah,
pretty much everybody's playing on Christmas Eve against Houston, and then we short week home versus Dallas on Thursday Night Football on December 29th, which is going to be interesting because I would imagine both teams are going to be right in the thick of it for playoff stuff, well, especially Tennessee. Maybe not Dallas as much, depending on how good Philadelphia is and Washington. And then they go at Jacksonville. So, Titans schedule is okay, but there's a stretch. Titans play at Kansas City, Denver, at Green Bay, Cincinnati, at Philadelphia, and that's going to be tough because obviously Kansas City is Kansas City, Denver with Russell Wilson, at Green Bay. Regardless of who Rodgers is throwing to, it's at Green Bay in November. The rematch against the Bengals, and then at the team that we just traded our best wide receiver to. We'll see.
Yeah, the Bills' first half of the season is pretty tough. So you have Rams on Thursday night, Titans on Monday night. So you get a long break to start off the year, but still 2 tough teams. Go to Miami, go to Baltimore, home to Pittsburgh. Then you got the rematch against Kansas City on the road at 4:30. That's the CBS game of the week already announced. You get a bye, and then you have Green Bay at home on Sunday night. But after that, you get the Jets, Vikings, Browns, Lions, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, and Bears. You can win all of those for sure because those teams have been kind of up and down. I think the Dolphins are probably your toughest stretch. Well, it depends on how the Browns are if Deshaun Watts is playing or not. By that point, he should be because it's week 11. And then you end with Bengals, Patriots again. So I think there's a chance, after hopefully you don't just stumble through those first 7 games. But it's a tough start for sure. But man, that middle, you got to take advantage of that. I think I talked about it last year with that. And then you saw they lost to the Jaguars. That cost them the 1 seed against the Chiefs. So, interesting schedule. Some good games. First Monday night football game of the year is Russell Wilson going back to Seattle with the Broncos.
Yeah, that's a balls move right there. Let me tell you what. The NFL schedule makers were like, oh, yeah, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this SB Nation article about the Monday night football games ranks. Hilarious. There we go. Yeah, number 1, they have that Bills-Bengals game. I just want to say number 17 is Bears at Patriots, week 7. And the quote is, I cannot fathom who thought this would be a good game. It's going to suck and be watched by nobody. I also want to say number 13 is Steelers at Colts, week 12. This is a football game you could watch. Number 14, Ravens at Saints, week 9. This is also a football game you could watch. So, yeah. There are 10 very good, I think, Monday night football games. And, of course, there are some that's going to be like, Okay.
Mhm.
Let's see. I feel like happens all the time in some of those primetime games, especially Thursday night. I am excited. I think we talked about this Thursday night. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit now, Amazon Prime.
Yes, that's going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, going to be a lot.
That I guess that is the blessing with Tennessee having 2 Thursday night games.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, everybody's moved around, and I believe I saw where Greg Olson's going to call the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
He's on the number 1 Fox crew, and that Fox called the Super Bowl this year again.
Him and Kevin Burkhardt, I guess.
Yeah, Kevin Burkhardt. So that's a solid crew, I think, for sure.
Oh, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Did we mention that at all? Tom Brady's
I'm not sure
signing a lucrative deal after he retires to officially start broadcasting with Fox, which I think will be dope.
Yeah, 10-year deal. Going to make more money doing that than he does his entire career in the NFL, which is insane.
That blows my mind. That's unreal.
Yeah, especially how long he's been playing. That's just wild. Yeah, listen, I hate the guy, but man, his social media is hilarious. His Twitter,
100%.
I don't know if you saw him playing baseballs and having Gronk chase him down. That's one of the funniest things I've seen in a while.
Yeah. He also he holed out. He's playing in that Capital won the match.
Yeah.
And his latest social media post is him holding out from, I don't know how long it was, but he holed out from the fairway, which is something I would like to say in my life I've done. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, his social media is hilarious, man. He is funny guy, but just don't do anything on the field. I keep seeing Bucks Bills is Super Bowl. I'm like, don't do that to me.
Yeah.
If this man does it again to me,
right,
in the Super Bowl, I might die.
Yeah.
I might die wherever I'm watching that game.
Yeah.
Because I can't have that happen. Now, if the Bills go out there and win the Super Bowl, I'll be in the Bucks. Oh, I will slander this man.
Yeah.
For all eternity. But no, don't do that to me. But yeah, interesting NFL season, interesting college football season coming up for sure. Should be a lot of fun. And we hope, of course, y'all have a great summer this summer. Wherever you're going, go to the beach, go into maybe baseball games, just traveling, or just hanging out at home or working, as some of us might be doing. Enjoy that, and hope y'all have a great summer. So thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we will hopefully see you back in full in about August or September, and we may keep you up to date on the socials and on YouTube and all of that later on. So at some points in the summer. So thank y'all for watching, listening, and enjoying the show.
Thank you.